Hello, I'm Dawn. This is Yarn as a Sport, and it's time to play ball. This is take number 3. I tried to do, my goal was to do 2 days a week. We had a family emergency that took us up to Wisconsin for almost 3 weeks. I am trying to work around the Yarn Caddy's schedule and some other things going on. I will try to do at least once a week within a 7-day, 10-day period. I know some people like things really regular. Please, if you're subscribed, put on the notifications. All right. My apologies. I have had some people ask me about socks, and to be honest, I have not knit socks in probably 5 years. I did start a pair. I haven't finished them. The best suggestions I can give you are to have you look at some other people's tutorials and videos. Stephen West just put out one about sock measurements, and it is well done, well explained. I would absolutely recommend that one. I will put it below. As far as demonstration and tutorial, Crazy Sock Lady, hands down. There are different ways to do socks, different recipes. And she does a tutorial for the cuff down. She does a tutorial for toe up using all 3 methods of DPNs, which is what I started with 40 some years ago. The magic loop, which is what I did, and went through quite a phase with socks, and doing them 2 at a time. And then the 9-inch cable, which is so much easier. It gets rid of the ladders and issues with the ladders. And I do 2 9-inch cables. I will do so many stitches, mark it on one, and so many stitches, mark it on the other. I need to do 2 at a time, or I'm going to have one and it's just going to be an odd sock. You know, that's, I think, how Little Mismatch got started. The other thing is with the soles, and Maddie of We Share Needles has a brother, I believe, that has very sensitive foot, and she does what I call a reverse sole. She calls it a princess sock, where you do just stockinette stitch for the inside of the sole, and that's something that you might think about. As far as the recipe, like I said, Crazy Sock Lady has got some great tutorials using the needles. The other thing to consider is the type of heel you're going to do. There's flap and gusset, there's fish lip, there's, I don't know, 4, 5, 6 different types. And then I guess they now call it magic heel. I always do it as ribbed heel, and that's something that I do for my daughter. A thing to bear in mind when doing your sock recipe and making the socks for people's feet, it will help if you trace the outside of the foot to have to look at. Measure at the ball, the arch, the ankle, measure the length from the toe to the heel. And then you want to do them tight because they are going to stretch, but you do want them firm. You don't want them to be sloppy. That's what causes blisters, can make them uncomfortable. They'll not wear well. My other thing is to look at the shape of the toe. Some people have toes that are rounded. Do this so that you can kind of see rounded. Some people will have them more square, and some people will have them more angular. And the angular ones, what you need to do is you need to decrease on one side and not so much on the other side. And they are going to be, because of the heel, they will be a left and a right sock. But you're not going to have the sock bunching up around the other toes, and I think they're going to be much more comfortable for people with that issue. The other thing with the magic heel, ribbed heel, is you want to do 2.5 inches from the edge of the, the back of the foot to the arch, and you want to do 2.5 inches from the back of the heel up, and that's on adults. The thing you can do with children's socks is to make that a little bit longer going toward the arch, so it'll ride up, but with the foot growing, they'll last longer. So there is that. That's my secret for children's socks. A lot of people have the superwash. The superwash is coated in polymer, whatever, plastic is what it is. It's an acrylic, like it's plastic. And that's what keeps it from felting. That's what keeps it from shrinking. But it also can make it so it's not breathable. If you use 100% wool, hand wash, I absolutely recommend using a nylon thread. You can get the woolly, which with the woolly, what you will do is you will tension it on another finger to draw it a little tighter than what you have the yarn, because you don't want it real tight, but you don't want it really loose either, because it's woolly. It's real stretchy. Or you can get nylon thread. You just want to look at it when it comes off the spool to see, and this is going to look like it's a lot of really thin, like spiderweb thin threads. But when it's woolly, it's very crinkled and crimped. But using that will make it stronger and more durable for the heel and the toes, and it'll allow the foot to breathe with the wool. Wool is wickable. It's antimicrobial. You can get blends with bamboo and things. Do your swatches and do wash the swatch the way you're going to do it. Measure it, or better yet, do 2 swatches so you can actually compare the 2 swatches on top of each other. And then a recipe card, and the recipe card will have the person's name. It'll have their sizes and measurements, if it's an angled toe, square, rounded, the type of heel they prefer. Sometimes it takes making them a few different pair, and in which case maybe you want to do just 1 sock and have them try it on, or have just sample socks for them to try on and say, how does this feel? And the other thing is people with medical issues. My mother-in-law had a medical issue, and her feet swelled like footballs. And I did a sock for her. I did it very loose. I did stockingette. And I didn't need to worry so much about the nylon threads and things. I did hers out of, I believe, bamboo, because it was breathable. Her feet got cold. And I think I did another pair out of just wool, and they needed to be hand washed. But I did not put a cuff on hers. I just left it loose. I didn't care that it went up. She wasn't walking with them. It kept her feet warm. So we call those hospital socks or bed socks. But don't feel like you have to have a cuff if somebody has swelling issues. Um, you can even do a cuff if you want a little bit less give to it, where you'll add every second stitch an extra stitch and then rib it, because the ribbing is going to be even then with the outside. So there's a lot of things to play around with and figure out. You might even want to just add a stitch every third or fourth. You're ribbing with the stitches that you pick up on that last row before you start the ribbing. So the count on that, if you have questions, DM me and I can explain that to you. Tutorials, I might do a tutorial in the future if I have enough people ask about that. But keeping the recipe card and customizing the socks, if you're knitting them, absolutely take advantage of being able to customize them. I will link the Crazy Sock Lady, Stephen West. Oh, and the other thing, Maddie from We Share Needles. I don't know if I mentioned this because, you know, I don't edit in senior moments. She has a sibling with sensitive feet. She does, I think I did say that, she does just stockinette to the inside of the sock. So that will help some people as well. Try all of the methods, the DPN, the magic loop, and the cable. Try them. You know, doing one sock at a time and trying the different methods, you know, gives you a sock for people to, and you'll want to do a different color and take notes so that you know which sock is which methods and things. But that will help you also if you want to just do socks for family members or, I don't know, private commission. The other thing I'm going to tell you about is a shout out for a new channel that I found called J Hook Crochet, and she has a video called Yarniversity, and she showed fashion that was crochet, and that is where I found out through one of her viewers during the live that there is something in Atlanta, Georgia, February 11th and 12th, which is Saturday and Sunday for 2023, Crochet Fashion Week. I don't know if any of you have ever had an interest or looked into going to New York Fashion Week, but tickets can be very expensive. You're looking at $300, $200 and up for a single show. These were $49 for a single show and $99 for the weekend for all of the shows. They have different designers. Some of them gave information so you can look them up ahead of time, which I thought was brilliant. It is affordable for those that will not be able to attend or that do not want to attend in person. For less than $21, you can get access to the live, and I don't know if they're going to record that and have it available for a limited time. I don't know. And then a crochet fashion magazine. I believe they're digital, 6 copies for like less than $21. I am trying to purchase that one. They did not offer PayPal on their site, but they are sending me an invoice so that I can do it through PayPal. I just think that's really great. Crochet is something that they have not yet figured out a way to do on machine. So anything you see crochet is hand done. And my understanding is that the designers are going to be selling or commissioning what you see, but they'll also be selling patterns. So bear in mind, you're not just looking at something you're going to buy. This is giving you an idea of seeing what something looks like moving on the body, which photos are great, but seeing the video of somebody wearing it is going to give an entirely different aspect to selecting a pattern that I think is going to be wonderful. I will link the information for that below. Again, if you have any questions on anything, knitting, crochet, Tunisian, embroidery, felting, needle felting, tatting, eventually I will have things that I can show you. I didn't have access to everything when I was in Wisconsin. I did get some yarn that I could sort through, and I showed, I believe, on the last video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your patience. Again, if you have any questions, you can comment below, DM me on Instagram, or email me. Thank you for coming by to play ball. Enjoy your crafting.